Right. Come on. Let's open some boxes. Okay, so we've got an old-fashioned pickups video today. There's a lot of good stuff in here. We've got weird stuff, wonderful stuff. There's also an epic trade deal that I did involving one of my favourite retro game shops in the country. That's in this black box here. We'll probably save that for last because, yeah, there's something in there that I've been after for years and I never thought I'd get my hands on it. But I had to swap something out of my own collection to get that. But as I say, we'll get to that. Without further ado, let's just jump into it then, shall we? We might as well just start here. Yeah, this is not really in any order apart from that one I've just mentioned. There's too much stuff. This is something I picked up a while ago, actually. I grabbed this on my visit to Doorway to Darkness, and I put it behind something, and I just forgot about it. I've never shown it on the channel, and they were kicking it off with something weird, but I think cool, right? We'll make an amazing display piece in the room, if I can get it out of this bag. Here it is. I told you we're starting weird, but how cool is that? So this is obviously part of the Rabbids franchise. I've never really played many of the games outside of the sort of like Mario Rabbids that came out when the Switch first released. But this, of course, is for the Nintendo Wii. And this is a Wiimote holder. And I just think this will make such a great display with my Wii games. I've got a lot of big box Wii games. I've got a decent Wii collection. And I just think having this to like end that collection on the shelves would look great with two Wiimotes in the hands of this Rabbid. It does need a bit of cleaning up, needs a bit of TLC. But I think this will make for a great shelf piece. This was $14.99 from Doorway to Darkness. And look at the cute little tushy. Needless to say, this is the way I'll be displaying it. I think we'll pop that here where we can see it. Can you see it? Yeah, we'll leave that there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah, I knew it was going to kick off with something weird. A lot of these I don't know where they are. And in true retro ghetto fashion, I've left my knife over here. So let's just grab the trusty RG knife. And yeah. Some of these I don't know what they are until I actually open them. And these have come from various different places. As you see, there's a lot here. Oh yes, so this is something which I've been after for a long time, but because I own this game in various different formats, it's taken me a long time because I was hoping to find it for a decent price and I finally did. But this is part of a bigger set that I'm hoping to get. So it's like I don't know, the guys on the Discord led me astray, right? If you think I'm bad at collecting, you should see the guys over on the Ghetto Gang Discord. So basically, I think this is what they've dubbed as the big box PlayStation collection or the book collection. I don't know what they're calling it, but I know it looks fantastic. So basically, it's all of the PlayStation exclusives that came in the big box that have PS4 on the top like that. And this is, of course, God of War, one of my favorite games ever, God of War 2018. And this is beautiful. Now, the reason I never had this is because I went all out at launch. I bought the big box that came with the statue, but it never came with this beautiful piece of cardboard and this art book. So this was like a must for me. You know, guys know how much I love the God of War games. So yeah, this is not a cheap piece, but as I say, I eventually managed to get it for a decent price. I can't remember exactly how much I paid, but very happy to finally be able to put that with that collection. And there's not many more that I need. The one that I'm after, and it might be the last one I need actually, is Bloodborne, but it's very expensive. A few guys on the Discord have found it in CX for the standard price. I think 2 or 3 people have found it now. So I kind of live in hope that one day I'm just gonna see it sat on the CX shelves for like 18 quid or whatever. But yeah, it's closer to £100 on eBay, that one. Okay, let's keep it moving, shall we? Right, I don't even know how to get into this one. Okay, first thing I can see in here, mint chocolate. Despite me keep telling people not to send me any more mint chocolate, I keep getting sent mint chocolate. I will, of course, say thank you. What is this? Ah, yes, I know. So this is, shout out to Groupon Code on the Discord. I met my friend in Sheffield and I meant to see him again and I never saw him again. And he grabbed this for me at the Sheffield Gaming Market. And that is Jet Li's Rise to Honor. So if you've been keeping abreast of the vlogs, you know that Big P was over in the country, and this is one that me and him saw when we went to Cannock CEX but sadly it didn't have a manual. So I've been wanting to find this game. This one is complete with manual. There is the note in here. So shout out to you, my friend. This is a game I used to play back at Big P's way back in the day. I remember school holidays, we sat down and played this one. It's a 2004 action-adventure game, and Jet Li provided the voice acting, motion capture, and yeah, it's one of them games that's like presented like a movie. It's got no loading screens, and it's basically a third-person beat-em-up. You play as an undercover police officer, and I won't spoil the plot, but it's very similar to a lot of Jet Li's movies. Very similar in particular to Kiss of the Dragon, which is a great movie if you haven't seen that one. Quite average reviews, weirdly. It looks great, but I think quite a lot of people said that the button layout was quite odd. It's quite one of them games that takes a bit of getting used to the buttons, but that's not how I remember it. I just remember it being great. Whether that's nostalgia goggles or not, I don't know, but we'll be finding out, because this is one that's getting put quite high on the to play list for sure. So yeah, shout out to Groupon Code for finding me that one. Awesome, awesome stuff. Right, next! I think I know what this is, because this was a gift. But I don't know exactly what's in here. I only know loosely. Aha, another note. We have a note. Man, there's going to be so much cardboard on my floor. Right, okay, I'm running out of space already and we've barely touched this pile. There is a note. Hi Callum, please find enclosed a family. We've got Retro Ghetto, Mrs. Ghetto, Junior Ghetto, Mini Ghetto. As chatted on Instagram, basically I went to Super Game Chat recently and I bumped into Edwin's son, and I was chatting to Edwin's son and we took a selfie and he sent it to his dad, and his dad, a big fan of the channel, so shout out to you and your son. And yeah, he sent me these, which is very kind of him. He said he had a few of these to send me, but I don't know what exactly they are. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. So these are some Lego minifigures for my army. If you don't know, I'm building a Roman stroke Greek mythology stroke, I don't know, whatever I've decided I want it to encompass, a Lego minifigure army. And the first one out the bat, yes, one of the Romans. These have become so hard to find. His cape needs a bit of adjusting. But yeah, these are just getting more and more expensive to find. And he is complete with his sword. So I'm guessing that is me that he was referring to. This must be Mrs. RG, this Cleopatra looking one here. And then the two kids, yeah, you got that right, mate. And these will both be going into the army. I've got quite a few Minotaurs and Cyclops. That's a great boost to my Lego minifigure display, mate. Much appreciated, Edwin. Thank you very much, my friend. Right, what have we got here? Aha, yes. So this is something I bought on eBay a long time ago. I meant to show it on the channel. I don't know why I didn't. My life's chaos. Coming in and out of the country, and there's always things that I'm doing in here. And what tends to happen is I'll be concentrating on doing a certain area of the room or my arcade cab or something, and box stuff and stuff that's ugly just gets pushed to the corner of the room. So it isn't like on camera when I'm filming. And some things just fall through the cracks and they sit there for weeks until I get around to tidying that section up. But this is something that, again, somebody posted on my Discord, and myself and a lot of the gang had never seen it before. And we all were like, wow, that's awesome. So much so that I think we were responsible for pretty much all the decent price ones going on eBay. I think we bought about 10 within a day or two's period. But anyway, that is Transformers Dark Side of the Moon, but it's the Stealth Forge edition. This one's a 2011 action-adventure game based on the movie of the same name. It's the third and final video game adaptation of the live motion Transformers film series. But unlike the first two, this one is its original story. It's based on events that took place before the movie. So yeah, I don't know much about this one other than how cool it looks. As I say, I'd never seen it before. And the fact that it comes with, I think that's Bumblebee. I just think it's so good. I love Nintendo cardboard in all its guises and all its forms. And I also love a window on special editions. I'm looking at the 360 collection now. I love those collector's editions, those bits of cardboard that just have a slight window and they just give you a little bit of what's inside. I think they display so well. And you'll be seeing on screen now all the purchases that were made somewhere in June, I think. That's how long I've been sitting on this. Yeah, for the copies of this. But yeah, I know a lot of guys grabbed this, and I'm thankful I was able to get one as well. I think I paid about, I don't know, 12 to 15 pound for that. So not bad at all, right? Not bad at all. Okay, what's next? let's go with this. I know who this is from, so shout out to Retro Amir. Retro Amir is a top guy. Again, he's on the Discord, but he also stalls at a lot of the gaming markets. This was a game that I was looking at on his market, and we agreed a deal. He sent this across to me, and that is Pac-Man World Repack. This one's a remake of the 1999 PlayStation 1 platformer, and it's been completely revamped. So we've got new visuals and a lot of like quality of life improvements. Pac-Man World Repack 2 is out soon on the Switch. When I saw that advertised, that's what sort of like initially got me thinking about this game. When I saw that at Nintendo Direct, I thought they look like pretty fun games actually, and I've never played them. I don't think I've ever played a 3D Pac-Man game, apart from maybe on the Super Nintendo, those kind of variations, but never played a modern one. So yeah, this definitely looks like a lot of fun. And somewhat, maybe it's a bit pushing it to call it uncommon, but there's only like 12, 13 copies of this in stock at CX. It's not one that you see readily. So yeah, very, very happy to have that. That will be one that I'll be giving a blast. We're going to be spoiled for choice on post-credit gameplay today, right? Yeah, so shout out to Amir for sending me that. And then he gifted me this. Well, before we get into this, he's also thrown in a couple of these, which are invaluable to me, some box protectors. And yeah, when you're going for a full set, you can never have enough of them. So thank you very much, my friend. But this is something he mentioned he'd be sending in to me. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. So this is a sealed guide for Super Street Fighter 4. Now how beautiful is that? Look at that artwork. I actually have this guide for Street Fighter 4. So I don't have this version of it. So I'm guessing it just includes some of like the more boss characters that probably weren't on the initial game. There's like 4 or 5 versions of Street Fighter 4 on the 360 and PS3. I kind of lose track of which one's which. But that artwork is absolutely stunning. And with that foil covering on the Super Street Fighter 4, that is one of the nicest looking guides I think I've ever seen. And this is a Prima guide, yeah. I keep hearing rumors about CEX doing Prima guides. I think there's some codes on there people have discovered. So I don't know if they've actually started doing that yet, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if CEX start doing Prima guides soon. But that's a beautiful one to have. The CEX will definitely not be getting their hands on that one. That's for sure. Shout out to Amir. Let's keep it moving. Right, what we got here? We've got a few. Yes, so I'll show these. So I've got to give another shout out to my mate for this one, because he sent me, no, not the games, it's just the sleeve covers for the Resident Evil games. I've already spoke to him and thanked him for these in person, but I'm not a big Xbox One collector, but I'm sure I can find space for these sleeve covers, part of the Resident Evil series. So thank you, my friend. And right, okay, so we're now down to the big ones, really. As I say, this is the one that we're saving for last, this gold and black box here. But we do have, aha, yes, yes, yes. Right, so these are kind of on theme, these big ones. So we're gonna get into these now. This one has come courtesy of the good folks over at Doorway to Darkness. Let's get into this. Now this was feared lost at one point, and it's since turned up after a purchase I made, a large purchase that I made. Wrestling with a bit of cardboard, waving a knife around. It's probably not the best of ideas. Very well packaged. Shout out as always to Doorway to Darkness. And what I have here, what has delighted me, is a piece of 30-year-old metal. I am not joking. Voila! I'm so happy with this. This is the backing plate for my Astro City cabinet. Now, when I first went to see this cab, I was told by the good people at Doorway to Darkness that this wasn't part of it, and I didn't care. I just wanted the cab so badly. It was such a good price, and I'm going to get into the pricing and costings of my Astro City on a future video. Once it's all where I want it to be, I'm going to do like a total costings, and I'll share that with you guys. But I was like, yeah, that's fine. But over time, I started to think, oh, I'm going to miss that piece, because if I ever get a working light, which is a story on its own, in the marquee, it's going to like all bleed through the back of the unit. And it's kind of ugly as to where you can like put the card, because you don't want to be able to see that the back's missing. But anyway, I got a message from them to say that this was found in storage. So yeah, we can now attach that. So on the next vlog, all being well, we'll be able to put this on. Well, I'm going to wait until I get the light working, but hopefully on this week's vlog, we'll have a nice light up marquee and the back panel to pretty much complete the Astro City. So that is a great addition, right? Never has a 30-year-old piece of metal made a 30-odd-year-old man so happy. And in a similar vein, we have something here as well. Now I've got to be very careful opening this one. Okay, so in a nice bit of purple, looks like sort of like the crepe paper you used to get at school, right? Colour of Cadbury. So this first one is, it smells really nice. This is for the instruction panel. So if you've been keeping up to date with the vlogs, you'll know that I had some like old game in here that looked like it had something spilt on it in a Japanese arcade 20 odd years ago. But I just wanted it nice, plain and clean. So this is like the sort of like standard non-game specific instructions panel that will go there. So where I've got that gap currently, this will go, and it just completes the nice clean look that we're going for. And that takes me to this. So this was not cheap, this piece here. I think this cost me about £50 before postage. But I think well worth it. I was a bit perturbed then, but I think that's just to protect. Ah, okay. Well, this is a little bit anticlimactic, to be honest, because it's got a protective coating on it. But you'll be seeing now the original like marquee for the Astro City. Mine's a bit faded, and I wanted a brand new, fresh one with those greens and pinks to really pop. The same way that we've got the new control panel, and that's what this is here. So this is a brand new one. So that's going to go on there. But if you want to see what this looks like, keep it locked to the channel. Sunday's vlog. Hopefully we'll have all these implemented and hopefully get a working light in here. And then we just need to figure out the control panel, and then we are good to go with the Astro City. Now, these are obviously aftermarket parts. They're brand new. I don't care really. I'm a purist in aesthetics. I don't want to modify it. I don't want it to look different. I don't want to put retro Ghetto logos on it or whatever. I want it to look how it should look. But I don't care about it being the original marquee inside, if that makes sense. I'd rather have a nice fresh one that looks the part rather than a faded one, but it's true to how it was because it's original, if any of that makes sense. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. Basically, it's all going to look fresh and nice and new, and this is going to be a big part of that. So yeah, very excited to get all of those improvements done, hopefully, on this Sunday's vlog. And with what is a mountain of cardboard around my feet, I'm going to take a sip of water, and it's time to get to the trade deal. So, you may remember a few weeks ago now, myself and James went to Super Game Shack in Leicester, and yeah, this happened. Like a dead body on the back seat.
Oh no, we're going to Leicester anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, it'll fit in round there. As you can see, we're out and about. We're in Leicester City Centre. We're going to Super Game Shack. I'm with James. He's on the other side of the camera. One of the things we needed to do was make space in the room. One of those casualties is my Lara Croft statue. I did previously speak about a deal that's been in the works with myself and Rich at Game Shack, and part of that is trading in Lara. So yeah, I've had my time with her. That's that sounds a bit wrong. I was going to say I've had my fun with her, and that didn't sound right either. But we're getting rid of Lara, that's for sure. So I've got to carry her like this through a city centre. I don't know if this looks weird in Leicester. It's probably normal here, right? So let's carry this body through the city centre. So that's the end of Lara in the 3.0. It was great having her. I love store display pieces, but too big, right? I've got rid of a lot of my big stuff. I had the Ryu bust and the Kratos on the throne, which have gone to James. And Lara was just something else which was too big for the room. As a collector, eventually you have to accept the space that you've got and you have to enjoy things while you have them. And then when it's the right time, move them on. And it was just time to move Lara on. But I didn't want to sell her. I wanted some stuff in return. So myself and Rich at Game Shack agreed like a price. And then I pretty much had that value to spend in his shop. So I was like a kid in the candy store, as you can imagine, walking around. But there is one thing in here which I've been trying to buy from Rich for years and he's never wanted to sell because it wasn't actually for sale. I finally have it, but we'll get to that momentarily because before then, I've got a few games that I want to show you and we're going to kick off with the absolute classic on the Game Boy, Sensible Soccer. Who doesn't love Sensible Soccer? I think most people would agree the Amiga version, Sensible World of Soccer, was where it was at. I never had an Amiga, but my brother's friend did. And we used to go around and play that. And it had like management elements to it. You could buy players and stuff. And I remember always being in the Italian league. This was in the heart of like Channel 4 Sunday mornings watching Football Italia. And like Serie A was where it was at back then, AC Milan, right? Before the Premier League became the powerhouse it is now. And that really is where my strong memories are of playing Sensible Soccer. But I would imagine it's the sort of game that lends itself quite well to the Game Boy. I regularly say I don't really buy Game Boy games to play them as such. I like having them that I can play. I will play some of them, but for me, it's more the collection element. I just love how they display, and it's a lot of nostalgia for me tied up in the Game Boy as well. So, yeah, an absolute stone cold classic. I was very happy to add that to the Game Boy collection, which is just growing and growing faster than my shelves can maintain it, that's for sure. I keep saying we're going to find a display area for the Game Boy. I just want to make sure I get it right when I do it. And this next one is a bit of a milestone Game Boy game for me, and that is Donkey Kong Land 2. Now, the reason that I say it's a bit of a milestone is because this is the completion of the Donkey Kong Land trilogy for me. I now have Donkey Kong Land 1, 2, and 3, all in really nice condition. And it was definitely one of the trilogies that I wanted to add to my Game Boy set. And similar to Sensible Soccer, it looks like one that will lend itself well to playing on the Game Boy. And yeah, very, very happy to have all 3 of those now. Loving Game Boy collecting. Speaking of which, we go to the next game. Now this was the most expensive game that I bought or got as part of this trading. Now this had £100 on it, but Rich is the top guy. And I did say to him there's more on eBay for like 70 odd. And we sort of like did a bit of a deal on it. So I didn't have to pay the full 100, but the box art on this is absolutely phenomenal. And that is Burai Fighter Deluxe. So this one's a 1990 shmup, and it says on the back, can you defeat the mighty Burai? For thousands of years, the Burai have had but one objective, the conquest of the universe. They have created huge armies of robo-mutants, half robot and half living flesh, with capabilities to produce thousands of robo-mutants each day. The Burai armies will soon overrun the galaxy unless you can stop them. So yeah, I enjoy shmups on any platforms. I'll happily sit down and play a shmup on a Game Boy. And look at that. Look at the artwork. Absolutely phenomenal. This one actually got a Game Boy Color release as well a few years later. I think that was called Space Marauder. It didn't have the same name, but I'd be interested to see what that looks like. So you guys will be seeing it on screen now. You'll have the benefit of that. But yeah, look at it, man. This is what I'm all about when it comes to Game Boy games. Just beautiful, beautiful pieces of cardboard. I'm very much got the bug for Game Boy collecting. Probably too much so, to be honest, because I've clearly got enough on my hands trying to go for the full SNES set. Now, don't get me wrong, there's no way ever, categorically, I'm going for the Game Boy full set. It's pretty much impossible, but I do enjoy buying them. And when I see them, and it's almost substituted SNES collecting to some extent, because when I go out and about and try and buy games in person, very, very few and far between I find Super Nintendo games that I still need, but there's a hell of a lot of Game Boy games that I still need on the shelf. So yeah, that was the 3 games that I got, but I've saved the best to last because this, as I say, is something that Rich didn't want to let go, but such was his desire to get a second Lara Croft Tomb Raider, because they've already got one there, but mine was like sort of like painted and a bit different. That I convinced him to let me have this. So if you've been to Super Game Shack, you may have seen this sat behind the counter. Countless people have asked for it over the years, myself included, every time I go in, and I've always been told it's not for sale, but There's been three things in Super Game Shack over the last few years that I've not only wanted, but felt like I needed to have for my collection. The first one was the Super Mario 5 Stars pack, the red Super Nintendo console that I'd never seen until I walked into Game Shack that day. Got that. The second one was the Tekken big box on the PlayStation 1 that comes with the case carrier and stuff. Got that, and this was really the final of the three pieces that I've been long admiring every time I go into Leicester. Now this was released in 2009, which is crazy to think like that's quite a long time ago now, right? But yeah, this is by Medicom Toy, which is like an art toy company. So it's one of them companies that make like vinyl art display toys, figures, in very small quantities, usually very expensive and usually have a high resale value. When researching for this, I couldn't really find anything online. There was no examples of it for sale or sold, so I couldn't give you an accurate pricing of it. But I'm just going to show you what it is. This is Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, and look at it. I mean, when you talk about the level of collecting where you just want things you've never seen before, things that are hard to get, things that you see and you fall in love with, this is that. This encompasses all of those things for me. The detail in this is absolutely stunning. I love this kind of art style. I love art toys. These are the kind of things that you would see in an expensive trainer shop, like those kind of like vinyl toy figures. Just, yeah, very clean, but also contain a lot of detail. The gun is actually detachable from his hand. You can take that out. You can take the silencer off. The little headset he's got with the radio and the wire, and got to give a massive shout out to Rich, massive shout out to Super Game Shack. Thank you for keep getting things in which wet my whistle, so to speak, because yeah, some of my favourite pieces in this collection I've had from that shop, so there'll be a link below, but it goes without saying, if you're ever in the Leicester area, go and check out Super Game Shack, and yeah, say hello to Rich, he's just a top bloke. And yeah, I think you guys can agree, I've done quite well out of that Lara Croft statue, the derpy looking Lara Croft statue, who is no more in the 3.0. We've now got things that are small enough to fit on the shelves, but I have just as much, if not more, love for. So yeah, all in all, I think that's a pretty good pickups, right? I've got to get away now, get some of these boxes put away because my room is a mess once again. And I think now it's time to lock in and get the room sorted out. I've bought a lot of fantastic stuff in recent times and it's time to get it on the shelves. The reason I haven't done a montage in recent times is simply because I'm trying to get the layout of the room right. I'm happy now where the Astro City is. Obviously we're going to get that up to scratch on Sunday's vlog. And we need to turn our attention to the Mega Drive wall, this side of the room. What can we do with it? Let's make it look better than ever. Let's maximize the space so we can get all this fantastic stuff put on the shelves. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this one. As always, it is much appreciated. Stay tuned for post-credit gameplay. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite piece was that I added to my collection today. And as always, play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you real soon. Take care. I've been thinking about getting this.
That's cool.
It's cool, isn't it?
How much is it?
It's not for sale,
Alright.
but it could potentially be part of the Lara make weight.
That's cool.
So cool. Takes up less room as well.
Yeah. That's what we want now, you don't want big things.
Oh yeah. All right, once again, post-credit gameplay time, and we really are spoilt for choice this week. So much so that in a post-credit gameplay first, I've actually already played 3 of these games. So the first choice was Pac-Man World Repack. Now, I ran through the first level on this. It's okay, nothing wrong with it. It's very sort of like cookie cutter, cutesy, easy. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. I mean, the game might sort of obviously ramp up in difficulty and whatnot, but it was very sort of child-friendly, not overly fun, just, yeah, a bit bland. Obviously, I wasn't going to play God of War. It's a bit of a deep one to jump into on post-credit gameplay. But my next choice was Barai Fighter. Now, there's nothing wrong with this game. I actually quite enjoyed the time I spent with it. It's got quite an interesting mechanic that when you're not shooting, you can change the direction. And then when you're shooting, you sort of have to go in the direction of which you're currently set to. But the soundtrack was horrendous. I wouldn't want to subject you or your ears to the soundtrack on this. It was, honestly, I had to turn the volume down. Really bad. And then I thought, well, let me try Donkey Kong Land 2. I mean, you know, I do often say I don't play Game Boy games. I tried to buck that trend. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. I just popped this on just to have a go at it, really. Whilst the Super Game Boy was set up, it gave this real nice, like, colourful banana background and stuff. Really enjoyed it. I played for about 3 levels on this, actually. I enjoyed it so much. But I did think to myself, I really want to go back to Jet Li Rise of Honor. It's been a long time since I've played this. And yeah, let's have a quick blast. Okay, Rise of Honor. I love how dramatic it is. Like I said in the video itself, it's all done like a movie. So good. I tell you what, thinking about action movies now, looking at this, we should have got a Tony Jaa game, right? We should have got like Ong Bak. That would have been some game. But anyway, let's get into it. Right, I've skipped everything, and as a result, I don't know what I'm doing. Right, it's telling me something. Not sure what. R1's to jump, that's new. Oh, fancy. The game does look like it's covered in Vaseline, I'm not gonna lie. It's very, yeah, it looks like my camera's dirty. It's not, it's just a bit dull, shall we say. Oh, look at that. I did say actually, didn't I? The buttons were said to be odd. R1 being the jump is a little odd straight away. Oh, we have for this guy. Alright, red coat man. Let's see what you got. Can I fight someone though? Here we go. Let's get fighting. Oh, he's locked the patio door. Come on then, let's go. So far, I've got through this game using one button. What am I supposed to do? By slapping the right analog stick. What? I cannot remember these being the buttons. It almost... So you have to like maneuver the analog sticks, almost like a boxing game. I think, was it Fight Night played in a similar way? R1's block. So R1's jump and block. Oh, that's nice. And then I use the analog stick. I mean, it's tried to be different. I've gone all Eddie Gordo there. Look at this guy. He got an axe. He's... Oh. He didn't take much beating, did he? Big lad comes out the door with an axe. One kick, he was done. Yeah, it's definitely not as fluid as I remember it. Graphics are nice, if not a bit brown. But yeah, these controls, man, they're going to take some getting used to for sure. Combo attacks. Carefully slapped sticks at the right analog will result in a combo. But how do I know what these slap... Why does it call it slaps? As if I'm sitting there slapping the remote. Right, okay. It's almost like a newer version of the Jackie Chan game on the PlayStation 1, Stuntmaster. In as much as that you're sort of outside, climbing ladders, beating people up. Obviously, it's got a martial arts action movie star. I'm going to be honest, so far, I'm preferring Jackie Chan Stuntmaster. That's a really fun game. One that I really need to go back to be fair. Right, let's just play a little bit more. See if things heat up a bit. I'm trying to think of Jet Li movies, man. Like, yeah, I said in the Kiss the Dragon, that was probably my favourite one. Actually, nah. Exit Wounds. With DMX. Was that Exit Wounds? Or was that Romeo Must Die? Might have been Romeo Must Die. With Aaliyah. Yeah, one of them anyway. The one that had Jet Li in. Good movie, man. They're both good movies, to be fair. Very of their time. But I think it's Romeo Must Die, right? Jet Li, DMX, Aaliyah. How am I supposed to get up there? It says jump. I'm trying to jump. Pressing the one button that you gave me. Oh, how am I? Oh my goodness. Right, jump onto the... Oh, that was not very clear. Same again? Right. So far, it plays like an interactive movie with some very strange combat buttons. Which, to be fair, is pretty much the reviews, right? Okay. I'm disappointed in this, honestly. I remember it being really fun. I must have been easily pleased back in 2004. Grabs. Hold the R1 button. Everything's R1. Why is it only giving me one button? There's so many buttons on this controller. All I've got is slapping the stick and R1. And none of them tend to work. Oh, dear me. This game was definitely better left in the memory, I must say. Right, I grabbed him and he reversed it. What? Did he? How's he dead? I'm trying to grab him. Shut up. Oh, guys, this... I should have stuck with Pac-Man. Right. Okay. Oh, dear me. Right, again, I don't know how he's died. I think we're going to call it there. So, Jet Li, Rise of Honor. Definitely one of those games that I think is better in the memory bank than in reality. But yeah, at least we know. Thank you very much for taking time to watch. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I'll see you on Sunday. Take care. What a load of rubbish.